But his voice.
And that's the thing, like, he has this really deep adult voice, but because of his size, it sounds like he's compensating. Like, when you're 14 years old trying to get into a 15-plus movie and you're just like, hello, I'm 15 years old.
Jesus Christ, Liam, what the fuck was
Why?
that?
I think
Would
that
you
really
do
worked.
that?
We were all in sync. It was so much better than whatever the hell the two of you do.
But then is it really in sync or is it
I
super out
don't
of sync and
that was
we're
in
just
sync at all.
catching up to the lag?
No,
That's
it's
what we usually
perfect.
have.
It's perfect. Yeah, no, just quiet in the galleries. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to what is increasingly becoming the One Piece podcast, I suppose. My name is Liam. With Liam are Manu and Sophie. Say hello.
The One Piece live action
Hello.
podcast.
It's particularly the One Piece
The
live
live
action podcast.
The One Piece live action before it releases podcast.
Very specific. How are we, Manu? Where in the world are you right now? You're covered in tigers.
Yes, I am covered in tigers. It's my new favorite shirt. People might have seen it on my channel before. I got this, so I'm kind of told Sophie earlier, I'm kind of indulging in the Japanese fashion recently, trying to mix things up a little bit. And yeah, I've been digging this. This is my summer vibe now.
Very nice.
Going for the One Piece cover page look.
Yeah, color spread.
I'm going for youthful garb.
Oh, yeah, I can see
With
that.
the tiger as well, I can see that. My dad was in Japan recently, Manu, and I asked him to get me some souvenirs, like One Piece themed stuff. And he told me that he met a German living in Japan, and that his new German friend helped him buy me some souvenirs. Immediately, I was like, that must be Manu. Manu met my
It's like,
dad.
that's the
only
only,
one.
it's the
Only
only.
allowed one
There's
at a
one German.
But no, it ended up, no, it was a black German dude, so it definitely was not you.
Unless you've been hiding something from us, Manu.
What does he think about Japanese kimchi? I'm curious.
He didn't actually say. I don't know. He didn't say much, actually.
I like it, but whenever I have like real Korean kimchi, I'm like, oh, that's way but
Much
different,
better.
way better. I mean, it's much better, but also much more spicy. And I'd say like the Korean
Okay.
one is more sour. Would that be? I mean, I'm sure there's different types, but
Maybe more fermented.
yeah, it's like more sour, more spicy. I mean, I love Japanese kimchi too, which is, I feel like Japanese kimchi you can just eat raw. I feel Korean kimchi you definitely need like meat or rice or something with it. Otherwise, it's just too intense.
Really? Okay.
No?
I mean, maybe the kimchi that I've been eating has been Aussie-fied because I can eat kimchi on its own, but maybe it's less spicy than what I would eat in Korea.
Maybe it is similar to the Japanese one there, where it's like, it's still spicy, but it's like very tolerable. One of my Korean friends in Japan, like they brought back some, I'm not sure if you know Emerichu, like she's a YouTuber too. And she brought me some back from Korea, and that was nuts. Like, tasted fantastic, but super sour, super spicy. I was like, oh yeah, this is how this is supposed to taste like.
Actually, now that you mention it, when my mum makes kimchi from chili powder that she gets from her friends who just came back from Korea, it is usually like 10 times more spicy because the chili powder tends to be like spicy.
Is that where the spice comes from?
Chili powder?
From chili? Do you put chili powder into kimchi? I'm not sure where the spiciness
what?
comes from.
Are you
I don't
being
know.
sarcastic or not?
No, I
What do
literally,
you
I'm
think
just.
it's red? Literally red. What do you think it is? Like tomato?
I've never made kimchi. I just know that it's fermented cabbage. I don't know what the rest of it is.
It's like red.
I thought it's just fermented to the point where it gets red. I don't know. Do you know that, Liam? Is that common knowledge?
I don't know shit about kimchi. I don't eat kimchi. I don't eat hot foods. I know nothing about food.
But have you seen it, Liam? Like, you can actually see the chili flakes in the
No,
kimchi.
you don't see chili
I'm going to be
flakes.
completely honest with you, Sophie. If I try to picture kimchi in my mind brain, I don't know what it looks like. I'm assuming it's red, but that's because I assume it's hot.
We're getting to Liam's, like, paella
Yeah, the
recipe
paella
again.
episode.
Yeah.
Liam, if you wanna picture kimchi, just think like someone gutted like a vegetarian or something, and that's kind of what it looks like.
A gutted vegetarian.
Emptied out the stomach insides into like a bowl and put some spice on it. That's the rough image. It's great though.
Absolutely delicious. Well, now that we've spent 5 minutes on kimchi, absolutely fascinating. You can go on if you'd like, but I think we have some fictional pirate business to discuss, which takes priority over every other subject matter in the human race, including the fact that Twitter is now X. I'm not going to touch that. One Piece.
Oh my god. No.
but you have
No.
to.
Okay, we're gonna do One Piece first, but we do have to touch the fucking X.
Yeah. As of recording this, the logo has officially changed, and I keep, not finding Twitter in my tabs because I am expecting the bird.
Yeah, I keep trying to find where Twitter is.
And it just looks like I'm clicking on a porn site now because it's a big black X.
It's like X Japan. Yay. X Australia. It's also basically Elon Musk did a Twitter poll. And he was like, do you want to make, I think what he actually asked was, should we make Twitter black? But what I saw after the rebranding was basically, should we make Twitter emo? is like the only thing that I saw.
Yeah. Twitter dark mode.
It looks real shit.
It does. I swear he is speed running the demise of a social media app.
If I didn't know that this is real life and I didn't see the actual changes, like the shit that he does and posts over the last half a year,
It's like satire.
it reads like a fucking parody account. Literally. Anyways, One Piece.
One Piece, a brand new full trailer. 3 minutes and 7 seconds of mostly new footage has dropped. I think this has significantly changed the opinion of fans in general towards the live action. Don't care about them right now, though. I care what you people think. Sophie, you had your thoughts. Manu, you had your thoughts. How have those thoughts morphed in response to this?
So I feel like mine is pretty unsurprising because
hated
throughout
it.
this whole
Fucking
process,
sucks!
yeah, it was the fucking worst. How could they ruin everything? No, I think I've been the most positive about the live action throughout this whole process, and I am probably going to continue on that train. So I don't know how fun my views are, but I thought it was fucking great.
Fucking. You swore, so you've significantly increased your opinion.
I mean, I think I said this about the teaser as well, but again, watching the trailer, I was grinning from ear to ear. There are obviously a few things that I'm okay, things looked a little bit awkward here or there, but I think I could look over all of that.
Name one.
Shanks, I thought didn't look.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we have very different points of criticism because I really liked Shanks.
I've heard a lot of comments about Shanks. My
Really?
favorite one was that someone in my comments said that it looks like you've dragged your dad to a convention and forced him to cosplay.
Interesting. I actually didn't have a problem with Shanks. I actually kind of liked Shanks.
Really?
Okay, we're gonna have an interesting discussion. Okay.
I think he's fine for the split second that we saw him. You can't really judge anything.
No, you
off
can't.
that.
I can't judge it because you don't know how it's actually going to play out. But from those few seconds that we did see, yeah, he just looked a bit awkward. It didn't feel like Shanks. Shanks feels like a very cool, the epitome of Shanks is the most badass figure in the One Piece universe. And I feel like when I was watching him, he didn't quite give off that energy. And the way that he was playing around with the hat, it really felt like he was acting in that moment. I feel like actors' jobs are to make it seem seamless and you're
They're
just
not
sort of
acting.
yeah. Whereas the way that he was touching the hat felt like a prop. It didn't feel like his.
Yeah, I had that issue with a lot of the extra scenes with Roger's execution, which again might not be a big deal because usually these crowd works are obviously just there for a few seconds, but that woman running there with the sword away from the platform.
She took my eye as well because I was like, who is she? Is this a reference to someone?
Yeah, is this supposed to be important?
Yeah.
It felt so unnatural also. And then the crowd pushing, I swear some of the people there were laughing while they were pushing. And I know it's probably not gonna, I think it just because it was in the trailer, I'm sure it's gonna be a second or something in the actual scene, but that one felt to me like someone was just shouting, action, let's do it again, and then don't laugh this time. And we're like, oh! That's kind of...
It's really interesting in the crowd scenes because someone has spotted Buggy in the crowd, actually, in addition to Dragon.
Really?
And a potential smoker.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Dragon is pretty obvious because you see his big green cloak, but in
Yeah.
one of the panning shots of the crowd, you can see someone wearing a black bandana with blue hair that looks
Oh, okay.
real like a
Like
young
Buggy?
Buggy.
Interesting. I will preface everything I'm gonna say with I did really, really enjoy the trailer. I'm way more positive about the entire show now than with the teaser. Nonetheless, I will probably still like gossip and like badmouth stuff, just because I think that's in my nature as a German.
It's your role on the One Piece live action podcast.
It is. I do want to, there's still stuff I want to criticize, but yeah, out of the gate, two big things for me. Like the first is that the CGI was something I was so scared about, and I actually did like the CGI more than in the teaser. I'm not sure if you feel the same way. Yeah, the Luffy, the Gatling gun looked really good. They put a lot of motion blur on it, which I think is absolutely the way to go here.
Yeah.
Firing the punches actually looked amazing.
It looked good. Yeah, because it's blurry.
Sophie.
I don't know. That's probably the one thing that I'll still say. It's probably the weakest point. But like, I am going into this knowing that the Gomu Gomu no stuff isn't going to look as great.
Gum.
Yeah, sorry.
I will say though, because you said Shanks, Sophie, one person, like, because again, I actually bought Shanks. Who I didn't buy at all was Roger.
You didn't enjoy Roger's Base's performance?
Yeah, he did look like Roger's Base.
Do you think it could be because he is a very different Roger to what we're used to?
Yeah, I just don't think the actor, like nothing against the actor, whoever that unnamed person is, because as far as I know we don't know who that actually is.
I think he's being credited now that it's been released, but he was previously unreleased, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, that's just not the right person. Like, he looks like someone glued the mustache on his face.
I mean, that's probably what's happened.
Yeah, but I feel like what Sophie said earlier, I feel like it shouldn't feel like it's wrong, I guarantee you there's people, like, I'm not sure if you heard that there was that rumor going around that Jack Black might be playing Roger.
Yeah, I've never taken that seriously.
I would have bought that, because he has, I think, the mask, he has, like, the laugh, like, he has that crazy smile that I would have loved to see that. I think there would have been people who could have, like, absolutely, like, embodied that role, and I think the guy who they chose in the end was just not.
Maybe.
I think he had a good voice, but...
Very good voice. I really like the voice. What I will give the dude is that he looks like a stereotypical manky pirate, mustache aside. So he's a very nice contrast from, this is the pirate you know, to Luffy. This is the pirate we're following. I will say though that in the manga, like before we found out stuff about Roger, I never cared about Roger because to me he just looks like a generic dude. So I don't mind starting from that place. Like, it's their job and this actor's job to like properly build Roger if this continues. But right now I think they're starting in the same place that actual One Piece started. It's a dude.
One thing I want to talk about a little bit with you guys, because we talked about it with the teaser trailer. It was like kind of where I was complaining a lot about the cleanliness of things.
Yes, it's filthier, much filthier.
And what I thought was really interesting, but there was a bit of a dichotomy I felt in this trailer. Where, like, for example, the opening scene, it had great color grading, it had this, like, kind of, like, yellowy Western, like, Victorian color grading, a little bit washed out. Then Roger had, like, the yellow teeth and everything. Then you had, like, the scene where Alvida is attacking that little pirate boat. The sails are, like, dirty and have holes in them. It has kind of that gritty vibe. And then suddenly it shifts again to some scenes that just look so clean and plasticky. And I'm actually wondering at this point if they're still editing some of the show's like parts where like there's not, the color grading isn't maybe done or something. I don't know.
Quickly get the CGI dirt in, dirty them up. They're too clean.
I don't know. Like, people have commented that, oh yeah, it makes sense because Luffy and the crew just set out to sea and stuff like that. Which, point taken. Like, maybe they get more dirty as the story continues.
I don't think so, because we've got scenes all the way up to Arlong Park and things do still look pretty clean out there.
And so now I'm just a little bit confused because, like, which one is it now? If that makes sense. I'm not sure if you have that. It's not really like a major issue, but I wonder if you've noticed that as well.
I get what you're saying. Like, if you have an aesthetic, I guess stick to it. I feel like most of it's clean, unless it's a big landscape sort of at sea shot. Then it feels very dirty and such. Whenever we're indoors, things feel very clean and schmick, like on a set.
Also, the Mary is like a bit of a point of contagion. Like, again, it felt, they had like these shots on the inside. Sorry, that's not what. what's the phrase? Sorry, my English ran out here. Contention.
Really?
Thank you.
I don't think I've heard a single thing about the Mary. Please do tell me what the contention is.
No, more in what you mentioned, like the indoor scenes where we see kind of, I think, Zoro sitting there on the couch, and then we have like the kitchen shot, I think, where they roll out the map. It's very empty. is how I would describe it.
I would say, to be fair, it is a brand new ship.
They haven't sailed enough. They haven't amassed all of their furniture.
I might be wrong, but there might be a bit of a size difference because I guess in the original story, it's this kind of like small, cutesy ship, very cozy, and it almost feels bigger,
Caravel.
right? Yeah, in the live action, it feels like a proper big ship that they have here.
Maybe. I think that in the manga and the anime, the Going Merry is a bit inconsistent when it comes to size.
I mean, I think everything's inconsistent size-wise, and so
That is
so
very
so is
true.
everything in the live action. At least it's inconsistent to what it should be compared to the manga or the anime, right?
Yeah, one shot I always remember is, do you remember when Big Mom's ship was appearing behind the Sunny and how big the Sunny really is, and that ship of Big Mom should theoretically probably be as big as a fucking island or something.
Queen Mama Chanta.
One thing I really loved actually was Buggy.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Join us, Manu.
Buggy's gonna be like probably the highlight villain of the series because I do have my issues with Arlong and Arlong Park as well, but literally everything that we've seen with Buggy, prop set with the circus tent,
Yeah.
Buggy himself, the CGI.
Costume, performance, lighting, everything is working for the clown. Beautiful. I love it. I can't wait.
I'm really curious if they're gonna go the route where, like, obviously they're gonna give him like this kind of comedic edge to it. I'm just curious how extreme they're gonna lean into it. Is it gonna be he's gonna be a threatening villain that also has these comedic moments, or is it kind of gonna be like in the actual story where it starts off kind of, oh, this guy might be threatening, but then it kind of just turns into a joke? Like, I'm curious what way they're gonna take it all.
He turns into a joke in the manga pretty quickly with the nose stuff.
Yeah, but I felt like you could tell a bit of the, like, sort of his, like, goofy nature, even in the trailer, like, when he's calling out the name of his attack, the fact that he's, like, doing that, like, it's just a tad hint of, like, goofiness, but then overall, like, he's quite a threatening...
Aloof is what I would describe him as.
I will say I cringed way less at the Chop Chop than at the Gum Gum for some reason.
Because I think it felt more threatening.
I still cringed a bit.
Really,
though.
I didn't
I mean,
at
a
all.
little bit, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, really.
It wasn't as bad. It still made me go, It did look amazing. Like, we spoke about this in an episode that, I don't know, may or may not be released. But we talked about Buggy's powers and we were like, okay, that's a big thing. How are they going to do that? And I think they very succinctly answered us and said, we're going to fucking smash it. Because those powers look amazing.
I think what we also discussed last time, what we speculated about was that a lot of the devil fruit powers might just be taking place in the dark, especially stuff like Buggy, which again happened in that dark tent. Because I think one issue I had is how are they gonna, what's gonna be where the limbs are gonna be chopped off,
Are
and
you going to see Buggy's internal organs?
exactly, and it was just like kind of black and in the shadow most of the time when I checked. So
It was a good choice.
yep, very good choice.
It actually looks like a lot of the fights take place at night because Alvida fight is at night. Kuro stuff at the moment, that looks like it's taking place at night, or at the very least inside in like a dark manner.
That shot of Luffy lying down, that was Kuro, right?
Yeah.
Luffy's face?
Yeah,
That's Kuro.
those are
That's
Kuro's
not Buggy,
claws,
right?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Kuro I'm also going to be interesting because again, the knife hands might be cringe, might be really cool. Very excited for that.
I don't know, if you can sell that, that's a moment.
One thing I thought like that I only like remembered when like going through the teaser and breaking it down was the fact that the servant is actually called Mary himself. For some reason, I thought he had a different name, and I thought it was kind of presumptuous that he named the ship after himself. Which I completely kind of forgot.
It'd be like if Frankie named the ship the Going Frankie or something, yeah. Or the Super Frankie.
The 1,000 Frankies.
Which actually, it seems something like Frankie would do 100%.
Yeah.
It's actually much more in line with Frankie's character.
38 battle Frankies, yeah.
We need that foreshadowing with the sun.
I really liked the Kuro stuff. I'm a bit disappointed that we haven't seen him yet, but I understand why, because it's a spoiler for the character. I think all of his stuff looks... Because there was a discussion about how, like, in the direction of horror, you should take a character like Buggy. And I think Kuro is more the character you should be asking that question with, because he's a genuinely sinister figure who could do some really messed up shit in the dark.
What's the guy with the knife hands? Edward?
Scissor hands.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yes. Kind of like that vibe.
How presumptuous of him to name his hands after his weapon.
Do you guys think Don Krieg will still be in the live action? Because he's been cast, but also they've cut episodes that were originally planned. I think originally it was supposed to be 10.
I think he'll still be in it. I don't think that his role is main antagonist anymore, though. Not because of Krieg, but because I don't think Gein's been cast either, or Pearl. So I don't think Krieg has his like armada anymore. It's more like he's a pirate, he seems like a threat, and then maybe Arlong barges in and beats him up and like, hey, I'm the actual threat.
I mean, I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about it, because for me, it might be a really smart choice to set up Arlong and the Fisherman Pirates as like this final set of villains early on, and I even think the news coup might be like bringing some newspaper that might set up Arlong as well. I just feel like for Baratie, the three things that I personally really want that still happen is I still want Sanji to like show his kindness, and if Gein isn't there, I'm curious who he will be kind to. Will it be a fisherman or something?
It would have to be someone else. Maybe Krieg himself instead of
Maybe that might be cool. I could see that. The second thing I really want to see is obviously like Mihawk's big entrance, but I think we're gonna get that one way or the other. But the most important one for me, I've seen people speculate that maybe instead of Nami leaving for Kokoyashi Village, they're gonna have the fisherman pilots kind of taking her back.
Well, that she gets like kidnapped or coerced, like, come back with us, Nami. Join your real crew.
Wouldn't you feel like that takes away from her character arc though, where like it's the classic Sanji and Robin thing too, where she betrays Luffy because she thinks like, oh, I have other obligations and no one can help me with this, and then Luffy kind of comes in and she learns to trust him, right?
It is feeling very Water 7 at the moment, because it looks like now that Arlong and the Fisherman Pirates are at Baratie, there's gonna be a conflict. The Straw Hat Pirates aren't gonna win. So it's kind of like the initial face-off against CP9 on Water 7, and then you've got to go like track the villains down with the crewmate, and so Arlong Park becomes a bit like a budget Any Slobby.
Do you have a problem with the power scaling there, that the Straw Hats might get their ass kicked at the beginning?
I try not to think about that. I did think about it briefly when Sanji kicked Karubi, and Karubi just stood there and was like, that didn't do anything, but it'll probably be fine.
But if we still have Krieg, it could be like, you know, they're tired because they just fought Krieg and whoever else there was with Krieg.
Maybe.
Look, I'm curious. I mean, it could go either way. It
Sanji.
might if they hit the important plot points of Baratie, which I think is, like for me personally, and I think for many people might be the first point where you actually fall in love with One Piece. I know for some people it is then actually Arlong Park with the Nami scene, but for me personally, Baratie was very much it.
Which makes me a little bit nervous that that's the nexus point where all of the bigger changes are happening, because that makes it the most compromised part of the story to me, at least potentially. Which
again, by the way, I wanna talk about the set there, and I feel like again it's kind of with the clean and dirty. There's like some sets, like Loketown looked insane to me. Baratie looks way better. That brought it to life perfectly and then improved upon it, in my opinion, both of these sets. And then Arlong Park to me looks like,
I love Baratie.
It looks like Disney like Disneyland fake plastic rocks. That's what I said in my breakdown. People commented, oh, but it is an amusement park. I'm like, that's not my point. My point is that like the landscape looks super fake in Arlong Park.
I get what you mean. You're talking about like the gate and like the fountain and stuff, that sort of area.
Have you been to Disneyland where they have these fake plastic rocks? Yeah.
I've been to Euro Disneyland and also other assorted theme parks, and I get what you're saying. I think that might be a purposeful decision though.
It's like the world that he's created, like in the village.
Yeah, because he was obsessed with the Sabadi Park, so he's like, I'm gonna create my own shark park.
I mean, yeah, again, people threw that argument at me too, but I feel like there's a difference between, I don't mind like the stalls or anything, like obviously that's a nod to Sabaody, right?
I really like the stalls. I think that's a great touch.
That should be there because, as you said, it is a theme park. I have like more of an issue with the natural elements, if that makes sense, of the scene. Does that make sense? Though I will say the tower looks great, but I feel like the space where they're fighting, like, and then they have exactly the stones there, so Zoro can walk on the water and stuff like that, and they can fight there.
The water feels very shallow, I guess, compared to the manga pool where Luffy originally sunk to the bottom of.
I did feel that way about the teaser as well, actually. I don't think we talked about it that much, but I felt that when like Luffy was drowning, it felt very much like when you can tell something something shot in a pool. Which makes sense because it is a pool, but like, you know.
Yeah, no,
when it's,
would be difficult to shoot it, I guess, in the ocean. But
If only there was a submarine team available.
I mean, Hollywood does the same thing. They don't shoot things, right? Usually on location, a lot of stuff is shown different. I think it's just about selling the atmosphere to you, because I mean, there is a lot of things you can do. But we'll see.
Now, Sophie, I've just used your name. I'm going to start talking about me. I really loved, I would say...
Now, Sophie, let's talk about something way more interesting than you.
Now, Sophie, I have 0 shits to give about what you have to say.
Now, Sophie, can you listen really carefully while I discuss something about me for a bit?
You might learn something important, so pay close attention.
No, where I was going is I was jumping ahead in my thought process a bit. There is one glaring thing that I really did not like about the trailer, but before I get into that, I just want to ask Sophie, because you're the positive one, what was the thing you liked most about the trailer before I bring it down?
Okay.
I want you to put us up there so that I can drag us back down.
I mean, like, my favorite part about the trailer was Buggy, but because we've discussed that, again, I'll just have to say that I think so far from what we've seen, it's just captured the heart and the joy of watching One Piece. And the music. I love the freaking music as well from the trailer.
Music's great.
I think that's hard to say because it's like trailer music isn't going to be the same.
Also, they did rip off, like, remember when I said I wish it was a bit more Pirates of the Caribbean? I didn't mean that they should rip off the soundtrack.
It did feel very Pirates.
They ripped off the soundtrack, right? Because it goes like dun 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 dun. I'm like,
it did have a... It might be a purposeful nod like, hey, pirates, this is the universal pirate music.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so general vibes. I would agree with that. I think, and this is what got me the most excited. Sophie, I'm talking about me again, if you'd like to listen extra carefully.
Yes.
The thing that excited me most about the trailer was that, like, it's not the One Piece I know, but I feel the spirit of it. Like,
Right.
it's an unfamiliar world that I feel very familiar in, very comfortable in. And I think they've done a very good job presenting that in this trailer.
I actually have two really positive things to say. I mean, I have more positive things to say,
shit.
but two things that really stood out to me.
That's 2 more than the teaser.
Yeah. One thing I really enjoyed, actually, which I'm curious how it's going to be throughout the story, but in the trailer at least, the sound design was actually really on point.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning, like they really made a point of like having the gear clank at the beginning and the boots and
crank.
everything.
Yeah.
It was really well made, and I felt like also for the fight, like, and that's the second point, which goes with the first, the sound design. I was very positively surprised about the fighting choreographies. We already talked about the CGI, which I'm very happy with, but also the non-CGI, like Zoro, Sanji, and what we've been seeing. I actually was very...
Sanji was fucking crazy.
Sanji was on fire. and like we have Zoro just like casually, again, maybe that's where the R1618 comes from, whatever it'll end up being. Like Zoro just casually slashing like one of the fishermen's, like I think Achilles heels or something, and like blood squirting
Yeah,
out.
with blood coming out of it and everything.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a bit bloody, yeah.
Sanji fight scenes were really good. My favorite one was when he just came off screen and kicked the fisherman back into the pool. Yeah, I really liked that.
Out of nowhere. And then him and Zoro side by side as well.
I think that some people are going to really dislike that kind of style because it does look, I don't want to say fake, but it looks very obviously stylized, especially when Sanji does the flip kick. I really like it. I am a fan of that kind of action.
It looks super cool. I'm gonna assume they had a stuntman do that, but like whoever, like, I mean, if the actor did some of it himself or like the stuntman, like props to them because it looks really good.
Props to the actor if you did it. Props to whoever did it.
So far, like, I'm buying a lot of the characters. I'm buying 100%. Like, dude, Kobe was perfect.
Yeah.
Mihawk was perfect.
I felt like Mihawk looked a bit young.
Really? I thought he looked perfect. I thought he looked really good.
Mihawk is eternal. He doesn't age. He's like a
True, he's
vampire.
the Dracula. Very true, very true.
Okay, so I'm curious if this is controversial or not, but like I do not buy Zoro as a character, and I mean that in the mannerisms.
Ooh, not where I thought you were going.
Makanyu looks like Zoro, the fight scenes look like Zoro, but the lines he has and the way he mimics, like he's really trying to go into that cool guy Zoro, which obviously is part of Zoro, but I feel like he completely misses what actually makes Zoro lovable, where he is that cool guy on the surface, but he's lovable because he has, like, he breaks that for these like goofy, like ragey moments, or when he actually like, is that Okay, is that the scene? Is that the replacement scene for when Zoro declares his loyalty in the teaser, or is that a different scene? Because if that's the oath he swears to Luffy,
Are you talking about the one of him in the bed?
You're my captain now and forever, yeah.
I think that's supposed to be the I will never lose again, yeah.
because that's one of the biggest moments for Zoro, because he is always stoic, cool, angry, and that's a moment like he's tearing up, covered in blood, like crying, like, you know, are you fine with me becoming the best swordsman? And then that's like such a powerful moment for Zoro's development, like these emotional moments where he shows like, you know, how much he cares about Luffy and his dream and everything. In the teaser, it's just McKenna kind of being like, with like some band-aids on the bed, and he's like, "You're my captain," and I'm like, "Oh, this is very underwhelming."
You're my captain.
I don't know, like rewatch it, and like I feel like if that is the actual scene, then I'm super not on board with it. Like it's kind of this like fake like I'm like alpha chat Zoro kind of vibe.
I do feel like they have taken away his goofy side completely, and they are really leaning in to the like stoic side of Zoro, like sort of like post time skip Zoro a lot more heavily. But I think that's also just to create a little bit more like distinctions between the characters. Like Luffy's the goofball, Zoro's the serious guy.
Usopp's the clown.
But same as in the anime, you can it's just the level of coolness that I feel like they didn't nail for me. Like that Zoro that they show me there, it feels more like I'm not sure how much of Makenyu you've seen, but it feels more like I'm watching Makenyu himself. Being like, oh yeah, I'm pretty cool and I'm a swordsman now. Like it didn't feel like I'm watching Zoro, if that makes sense.
Something I don't think we will see in the live action series is crying drama like that. You know, the typical Oda, liquids dripping from every orifice, like the snot crying sort of thing. I don't think we will see that in the live action because I think it would look too melodramatic to act like that. And everything really needs to like be settled down.
Like Nami was crying, like Emily's Nami was crying in her scene, like in the help me scene.
And I will say that one is also a bit of a make and break for me because the way it looked, it could go either way. Nami, I felt looked really good actually. Like the way Luffy delivered his line there, like, or he didn't, like he just put the hat on, right? But it just didn't have the same gravitas in that moment. But like what I also said when I broke it down, it might just have been
out of context.
It's out of context. It was kind of that upbeat, epic music on top of it, so that might be it. But yeah, the Zoro one really bugged me, like, because that was for me such a highlight moment in the early series.
I would agree with you that I prefer the original dialogue a lot better than just my captain. Like, I do much prefer. Like, yes, it's obviously his loyalty to Luffy, but it also says a lot about him and his goal, the original dialogue, a lot more than just recognizing Luffy as his captain.
I mean, this is the birth of the greatest character in manga we're talking about. We cannot take it
The greatest.
Yeah, I mean, Zoro does only get this, like, very handful of real character development moments in the story anyways. So I feel taking that away kind of detracts a little bit from the character for me, because if I didn't know One Piece, I feel it's my first time watching this show, and like this because that would be the one emotional scene I get from Zoro, really, that kind of defines his character there and like really shows that he's now fully behind Luffy and everything and how much he cares for his dream and everything. If I don't get that scene, what I would take away is like, oh yeah, he's this really cool dude who can fight with swords, and after he gets defeated, he's kind of annoyed and he's like, okay, I'll be with Luffy.
Maybe there's like potential elsewhere, because he does stuff like, you know, eats the dirty rice bowl of Rika's and he's like, tell her it's delicious. And then in Syrup Village, he like starts slipping on the oil and effing up, fighting the Black Cat pirates. Like, there are opportunities, but I get what you're saying.
Will we get that?
I don't know, because it looks like Zoro gets stuck in a well now at Syrup Village.
And I would also argue, like, the coolness factor from Zoro in the movie, I think the reason why people really love Zoro so much and why they do think he's cool is that Zoro as a character, I think, genuinely doesn't really care what people think about him. He is just like, I'm just caring about how strong I am. I just want to drink, I want to meditate, and I want to train. And like that, and I'm just like, I don't really care, unless like someone hurts my friends, then I'm gonna be fucking pissed. That's why people respect him, because he's like, he seems very confident about himself in a way. While the coolness we see in the trailer is, and maybe that's because it's due to live acting, I don't know, or maybe it's just a wrong interpretation. It feels more like, look at me, I'm a pretty cool guy, don't you think? I don't smile. I don't smile. Alpha face.
Giving some very Helmeppo vibes there.
Cast me, yeah. No, but yeah, that's kind of, I felt like it was a different type of cool. Like if I saw someone in real life act that way, I'd be like, oh, you're pretty insecure down deep down about something, if you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying. If that person existed in real life, I would think the exact same thing. Like, you are not this cool. No one is this cool. You are horribly insecure about yourself. Because this is a highly stylized world, I can kind of let go of that and just accept that, that's the archetype. But also, yeah, I think all of the Straw Hats are a bit too early to judge. Like, I've also seen a lot of comments about Nami.
Really?
And a similar thing, just how stoic she looks all the time because she's always serious. But that's because we haven't seen any of her lighter scenes.
That's true, but also Nami, especially early on, is fairly, like before Arlong Park, she is fairly stoic. Like, I think even in the manga, she has kind of
She is not. She is like yelling all the time.
I feel like that will probably be toned down as well, and that will come down to more of like a sarcasm. I feel like the live action Nami, all of that's going to be more like sarcastic berating rather than like over the top, like I'm going to beat you kind of.
Quippy.
Yeah.
Marvel quips.
Sophie, what did you think about Luffy saying, we're the Straw Hat Pirates?
We're the Straw Hat Crew. Did he say?
I actually looked it up. The first person who actually set straw hats in the manga is actually Smoker and Alabasta. I looked that up.
Yeah, the Marines effectively named them. They must be the Straw Hat Pirates because that's what their Jolly Roger looks
Luffy
like.
never said it. Like, I don't think the Straw Hats ever called themselves the Straw Hats, actually.
No, they call themselves different things. Like when the Dressrosa team leave for Zoro, they become like the Curly Hat Pirates and stuff. But I actually don't know if they've ever referred to themselves as the Straw Hats. That's very interesting.
I looked through a bunch of panels and stuff and like flipped a bit through the story. I might have missed something, but I didn't see anything where they ever referred to themselves as the Straw Hats.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What was that?
Wow.
Sexy lip bite there, so he's like, straw hat.
The straw hat.
Straw
No, it's the
hat.
curly hat.
Curly hair. Sophie was ripping off. Sophie's on X already looking at the curly hair pirates.
I mean, X is appropriate because Twitter is very porn friendly, but please do go on, Sophie. I don't want to derail this.
Even like after this discussion with the teaser trailer, I actually would say I think Inaki's portrayal of Luffy and the dialogue is growing on me a lot more. I think I'm getting like
I loved his last line.
Oh, I hated that.
The I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
Really?
I believed
Yeah,
it.
I did
I-
not believe it. I did not hear Luffy.
Absolutely.
really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really, I feel like I'm just like I'm getting much more used to it. It's like, oh yeah, this is like he's selling it for me.
Me too.
Me not.
Gotta break Manu's cold German heart down a bit more.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. I'm happy. I'm happy that he's selling it for you. I did get Luffy energy in other scenes, not in that. Like that one, yeah. That one specifically, the pirate, like King of Pirates scene, that one specifically bugged me at the end.
What
I
about
thought
it?
that was his strongest line in the trailer.
Interesting. Delivery.
Okay, the delivery.
I thought it was great. It's like, because I think he's in Buggy's circus tent and he's just casually going, and I'm going to be king of the pirates. That's who I am. That's why I'm here. It reminds me of when he was talking to Big Mom on the Den Den Mushi and he was like, hello, Monkey D. Luffy, future king of the pirates here.
I think it's just a nuance thing, probably. Personal opinion.
A nuanced take, yes.
What about his more comical lines then? Like when he's looking at the bounty posters or when he's talking to news crew?
I like the news coup a lot, actually.
I love the news
Yeah.
crew scene.
Because the news coup, I could absolutely, I really actually love that scene because I feel like I would almost want this in the manga because I could absolutely see Luffy inviting the news crew to his crew at that point.
Yes.
He's like, I want a crew. Do you want to join my crew? Yeah. That was a great line. That was a great addition. That was very Luffy-esque.
Him saying mutiny was the Luffyist, you reckon? I don't know about the last part when he
said mutiny?
declares mutiny. When news crew flies away, he's like mutiny.
When Newsku flies away, Luffy's like, mutiny.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was funny.
Really good work on Newsku.
Yeah.
Totally believe that it exists in the world. Brilliant CGI.
Was that CGI or was it a puppet, I wonder? Because they sold that really well.
It
I thought it
has
was
to be
CGI.
CGI. It has to be.
Looked really good.
Looked real good. More Newsku.
Also, the second look at the Sea King also looked really good.
Yeah,
I'd say.
seeking. Yep.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Arlong?
Despise it.
Terrible.
Despise it.
Okay, despise is a strong word. Because we were just talking about effects and stuff, I should make it clear, I love everything that's happening on the face.
Okay.
I love the prosthetic work, but I'm in the camp that the body does not match the face. It looks like a really chonky head put on a chibi slender man body. Boy body even.
I do have a problem. That was more my problem with the nose. I would have preferred if they had gone the Usopp route.
Of no nose.
Well, like maybe shorter or like hint at it maybe, or have like maybe just a very sharp, like pointy or something. I feel like it looks weird. The saw. I can't get over that.
Have either of you been on X today?
Or bringing this back on.
Well, it's relevant because I saw someone do a fan edit of Arlong that convinces me that the face is not the problem, it's the body size.
Which one is the real one? The left one?
The left one.
Looks like a kid. Yeah, that's weird.
The one that looks like, Arlong just hitting puberty and entering high school.
Yeah, okay.
The body does not fit the face.
Okay, I will say with the nose in this frontal shot, it looks way better than when it's on the side. I don't know, like on the side, it just looked a little bit weird. But yeah, the body, I see the body thing now.
Yeah, when you put this photos side by side, you can definitely tell. Even when you're watching it, I think you can tell, like, it's like, oh, he's very short for that sword.
The right one looks way better, yeah.
But also, he's very short in general. Like, he leaves Baratie through the front door like a standard human being. And he has a very slender frame, and something that annoys me to no end, in costuming, they've covered up his chest. So he looks very conservative and not confident about his superior racism.
No, I see what you're saying. I can't unsee that now. Why did you share that?
Me too. I knew that he was a bit small, but it didn't bother me. But now this is like...
Now it's bothering me. Even the top one, the original tweet, where it's like him and Luffy facing off against each other, the right one looks so good, where he's like taller than Luffy by 2 heads.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It does. It gives him that imposingness that he needs. I don't buy him because he and Luffy are pretty much the exact same height, and I think pretty much the exact same width. The Arlong I'm seeing here, I reckon Nami could beat him.
It's alright, because his voice carries.
What do you guys think of the swords? Like, especially we see Arlong's sword and Mihawk's sword, and okay. Again, Mihawk, costume, casting, even the freaking... like colored contacts that they put in.
Contacts?
Such a fantastic detail.
Looks great.
And they sell it. I was a bit worried that might look weird. Looks absolutely fantastic. Looks great. I think Yoru and also Arlong's sword look like they're like a plastic toy. I can't get over that.
Arlong's sword not as bad, but Yoru definitely. The hilt.
Oh yeah, like the close-up of Yoru.
Dude, Yoru was so bad. I'm like,
hilt.
and I don't understand because, I mean, there's YouTube channels who literally make these anime swords and it looks so good. Yeah.
Men-at-Arms made Yoru.
And I'm like, yeah, like, I think I mentioned that too, and people were like, oh, but they would be heavy. I'm like, no, not the one they could lift that, and you can still make it out of aluminum or something. It's more about the paint job more so than any, like, that's prop design.
I was a little disappointed because I've always pictured Yoru as very, like, rich.
Yeah,
gold.
rich gold with like these glowing stones, but it looks they just have like these like clouded marbles in like a plastic setting. Yeah, that was very, like, that close-up, yeah, did not do a lot of favors, I feel like. Like, what I would have wanted to see is like maybe it like glistening in the sun, add like a little sun reflection, and it's like zing, kind of.
I'm looking at it now, and it does look like a sword that I would maybe get in the pirate show bag from the Easter show and play with for a bit before it breaks.
Like a Disney prop or something, yeah.
It's not amazing. I think, again, in the world where almost everything does look fake, it'll probably be just fine, though.
Yeah.
Skepticism within the bananas.
No, I mean, I agree. I think it's like, I don't think it's a make or break. It's not the biggest problem.
I agree. It's not Arlong.
And actually, on that note, Manu, I just sent a photo. Maybe this is the problem that you had, because it might be the nose angle that you're having a problem with.
Oh, that's from the same guy I sent. Yeah,
Yes.
So, yeah, the downward nose also covers the mouth. And I feel like as an actor, that would really annoy me, because that's getting rid of like a lot of mouth acting you could be doing. Especially because I associate Arlong so strongly with that sinister, sick as shit smile. Yeah, that shit shark-eating grin. And in this trailer, he's never smiling. He's just always angry. He's a very angry boy.
Boy being the operative word.
Boy, he is not a man. He's a fish boy. He is not a fish man.
A fish boy.
But his voice.
And that's the thing, like, he has this really deep adult voice, but because of his size, it sounds like he's compensating. Like, when you're 14 years old trying to get into a 15-plus movie and you're just like, hello, I'm 15 years old.
Do you know that Saturday Night Live sketch where they're trying to buy beer and it's like, I just came back from a long work at the factory. How was your work at the office? It's like, oh, yes, I can't believe they... Yeah, I've been working at the factory for 7 years now.
7 years.
I started when I was 18, which makes me 25.
You're overcompensating because in your mind, you're like, well, if I say I'm 15, that's obvious. Everyone who's 14 saying they're 15 says they're 15. I'll just say I'm 17. They'll buy it. I can look 17.
Yeah.
That's what Arlong's doing for me. He's compensating when he shouldn't be because he is, in his mind, the superior being. He should be just chill.
I'm very curious how they're gonna do it. Because Alvida also, obviously, I think... Do I remember that correctly, that she's also quite tall?
Alvida's hot.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sophie, what was your tweet about Alvida? What did you call her?
Alvida.
Alvida.
Yeah, Alvida.
Alvida's too hot, yeah.
Alvida's too hot. Controversial take from Manu here.
No, but she doesn't feel like as threatening. Because like as threatening and as like, she gets that glow up, right? After she uses her fruit, like where she gets like slim and all.
Slip fruit.
And I feel like she, as you said, like as Sophie said, like the actress is like, she looks like Alvida, but she's almost too pretty in that sense. And I will say she doesn't look quite angry enough. Does that make sense in the trailer?
She looks very cute.
She is very cute.
She looks actually like
She
a
looks what
very
she looks.
she looks very cute.
Sophie's tweet, Albeida looking bad, not gonna lie.
Baddie. Baddie.
It's a pretty common thing. I've seen a lot of people starting to simp for Alvida. It's been quite an interesting phenomenon.
Bello Baddie would also be very fitting. I would want to see her in the live action. But I think it kind of throws up a real issue with Arlong, because especially for maybe not right now, but especially once we hit the Grand Line, where size is going to be such a big factor.
It makes me nervous about the size of other characters.
Yes,
yeah.
like talking about someone like Whitebeard, talking about someone like Doflamingo, who technically will absolutely be cast as obviously normal actors, but
even someone like Crocodile. Crocodile is kind of huge compared to Luffy.
yeah, he's like 2.50 m or something, right? Yeah. Which obviously makes it really difficult because you basically would have to film the characters separately from like each other, like have filmed the one character on set and then the other maybe in a green screen.
Like they do with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, where you have that forced perspective thing. And obviously in the Grand Line, that's almost everyone is bigger than Luffy.
That's the magic of it. Everything's bigger than him, and it's like he's the underdog who has to overcome it all. And if Arlong's like shorter than him with his hat off, I'm like,
Like he doesn't look that threatening. Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. That's a problem for future seasons if that happens. I'm focused on this one.
Also, I wanna go back 1 second to the Zoro thing. I absolutely buy Sanji as Sanji.
Do you like British Sanji? I saved your ass.
I like British Sanji a lot, and I buy him a lot. I'm actually almost wondering, like the actor, I feel like he could have pulled off Zoro maybe even better, I would have said. Is that a weird take?
Did he audition for Zoro, or am I making that up? No, I'm probably making that up. I think I'm mixing up another movie and another story I heard and other actors I heard about with this one. Disregard me.
Yeah, anyways.
Completely disregard me.
I feel like that, like the actor for Sanji, he has kind of that very confident coolness to himself.
Yeah. I have nothing bad to say about Sanji.
I do see what you mean, but then I think he fits that very the slickness of Sanji perfectly.
Well, I think he acted really well, but I feel like if you had given him Zoro, I feel like he could have pulled that off
as
too.
well, yeah.
So, really interesting thing. The accent has been divisive on Sanji. And a lot of people in my comments have said that they don't want a snobby British Sanji, to which I just have to laugh because that particular...
But he's royal.
One, he's a royal, so if anyone is going to be snobby, it's Sanji. Two, his accent is definitely more on the Cockney scale of England, so it's not particularly refined. It's very street English, yeah. Oh, saved your ass, I did!
Saved your ass.
Yeah, I dig it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, me too.
What character in One Piece would be Aussie? If you had to pick one, what's the most Aussie feeling character?
I mean, Jewelry Bonnie is the only Australian one.
I could see Bellamy being...
Oh yeah, Bellamy.
Could be, yeah, mate. What
I'll
the
take
fuck?
Bellamy.
Yeah. Fuck off, fuck off.
Oh, you believe in the fucking Sky Island? Oh, mate.
I would think that.
We got ourselves a bloody drongo over here.
Just the Jaya bar scene just being like a whole like bogan crew.
Can I have a VB? Can I have a VB, mate?
Okay, we've got some time left. We are gonna go and, yes, tell me about the members very quickly.
All right, so everyone say a big thank you to Sasuke RT909. RTN09.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sasuke.
Thank you, Sasuke. Assorted letters and numbers.
RT9? Okay.
Very good. RTN09. That was my bad.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And to finish, let's go around the room. What is your one-word summary of the One Piece live action full trailer? Sophie, go.
Bay. Albedo.
Bay?
Albay.
Obey.
Albedo.
I'll say
Alright.
promising.
Fuck you, that was my word.
I knew.
Optimism-inducing with a hyphen.
All right. Well, you've heard it, guys.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching,
Yes.
and we'll see you next week for another episode of the One Piece live action.
Maybe not. Bye-bye.